Hello, beautiful souls. It's me, Christy, with Abundant Healing and Wellness, and I'm back for another short little conversation with you. And I want to talk to you about forgiveness. I know that doesn't seem like a very important nor special topic, probably to some. However, I'm here to talk to you about it nonetheless. So, as I was doing my podcast today and my blog, and I was speaking to everyone about being brave and telling your story. Um, it's very important to me to encourage you all to be brave and tell your story, because just because someone resonates with me doesn't mean that I will resonate with everyone. So it's extremely important for you to tell your story. However, forgiveness is involved in order for you to do that, most likely. Okay? It's easier for you to tell your story in a productive manner and a uh, healed emotional state. People will hear your story more clearly, and you will touch more people when you are able to articulate in a non emotional state, first and foremost. But forgiveness. So, as I was doing my blog, it occurred to me that the types of things that I speak about or am starting to speak about publicly, child abuse, sexual trauma, violence, rape, are very, very heavy topics. And those are oftentimes hard for people to forgive. Now, the reason why I'm talking to you about that, number one, is because forgiveness is most important for yourself, because otherwise you're letting that action, that perpetrator, live in your head still rent free. They're probably not even considering their actions unless they've been punished and caught. However, the only person that it's hurting by not forgiving is yourself, okay? Because it makes you internalize and you can't move forward. You get stuck, and these things can manifest into illnesses into your body, and you don't want that. Now, secondly, if you've experienced a lot of trauma in your life, the odds are pretty good that you have a very, very specific, important path. As we go through this ascension, and many of you are awake to your purposes now, probably, it's even more important for us to come together as a collective team and talk about these things openly so that we can heal the collective, right? But when we have traumas like rape and assault and sexual abuse, those things are almost unforgivable. I understand that. And I did feel that way for quite some time. However, it didn't behoove me. So it occurred to me that I should probably say, how do you forgive an act like that? How do you forgive a pedophile? How do you forgive a pedophile? I'm going to give you two examples of how you forgive the uh, situation and heal it from surviving pedophilia or some sort of other sexual violent crime. First and foremost, it's easiest if you can literally just step back out of the situation for just a moment. Even like go into a meditation first for grounding, healing of the root chakra. That's the base chakra. That is at the base of the body, and that is the area in which the first 7 years of your life are developing safety and security, the basic needs that a child and human need to survive. And many of us have experienced arrested development in that stage because of childhood trauma. So if you step back outside of the situation and you just take a few moments and you say to yourself, or excuse me, you look at the situation and then you examine it and then you look at it like a third party, okay? Like it's not your situation. That helps you remove your emotional attachment and pain to the situation, right? So you can have a more clear perspective. Not lessening the crime, just give you a different perspective. So when you do that, you can look at the person in the situation and you can say, wow, that's fucked up, right? And then you could ask yourself, obviously, or you probably would be saying to yourself, I would never do such a thing. Well, I want you to just take a couple of seconds and ask yourself, what happened to that person to have them behave and act and do the things that they've done? What happened to them as a child? And then if you know their story, like for me, I know my mother's story, okay? So my mother allowed a lot of terrible, bad things to happen. Did a lot of bad, terrible things. And maybe it may have been easier to forgive her because she was my mother. I don't think so. I think I put more pressure on her because she was my mother. And it was harder to forgive her. Um, However, I know my mother's story, and she had a horrific story. She was an orphan in an orphanage for several years and was forced to do sodomy as a child in the closet with the older boys. So her first 7 years of life were equally as messed up. Now, not everybody has the same strength inside, okay? Not everybody has the same fortitude. If you could survive something, yes, we automatically go, well, if I could do it, you can do it. I did that for a long time. However, that's like comparing apples to oranges. Everybody is different. Everybody's story is different, and how they respond is different. And at this time in history, if you are standing up and speaking out, you obviously have a big path, and you asked to experience certain things in your life so that you could connect and have a very much larger spiritual connection with Source, as well as potentially be a waymaker to speak out so that you can help create change. Because I know that I don't, and I know that you don't want the things that happen to you to happen to your children, to your grandchildren, or to the future generations. So, forgiveness is incredibly important. Now, I'm going to give you another example of forgiving a pedophile. So, one of the things that's incredibly important and does assist you in healing from this type of a situation is examining the polarities and dualities of it. So, someone that I know was a product or a survivor, I should say. They're not quite thriving the last time I heard, but a survivor of childhood molestation by a babysitter repeatedly for years. Now, this person hated the act, just as everybody does when they have it happen to them. However, because of the situation that they experienced, they also developed addiction problems, which many people do. Trauma is the gateway drug. I don't care what anybody says, like cocaine, heroin, those are not the gateway drugs. Pot, that's not the gateway drug. That is people not wanting to live. They're literally trying to escape the pain that they haven't healed, okay? So, addictions occurred in this person's life, and in a drug-induced alcoholic state, they also did something similar to another person. I'm not going to go into the details, but I am going to tell you I had a very serious conversation with that person. They also went to prison for some time for their acts. And I spoke with them after the fact that they had done their time. And because of my situation, I had a connection with this person, had the ability to communicate openly. And it was incredibly important for me to understand, how does one go from the action of pedophilia happening to you to doing the same to another? That was mind-blowing to me. Like, what? So I really, really sucked it up and took all the strength that I had within me to sit, ask questions, and listen. And it was not easy because you really want to dislike, almost hate. I don't like that word because it's a very strong word. However, it's a very powerful experience, and it is very vile, and it's hard to conceptualize how anyone can do these things. And so my conversation was rather lengthy with this person, and they explained how ashamed of themselves they were. They explained they couldn't believe that they had been in that situation because had they previously even heard of anyone doing anything, they would have wanted to harm the other party for harming another being. However, addictions were involved, and this person went down the dark side, right? So I listened to this story, and now I also have to say that I care about this person very deeply. I'm not in contact with this person. However, as a human soul and having engagements with this person, there was a friendship and a bond that was formed. And I am forever grateful for the conversations that I had because it gave me the opportunity to look at the polarities. With everything light, you have to realize that you need dark. If the dark wasn't there, you wouldn't see the light. If the light wasn't there, you wouldn't see the dark. You need to have the yin and yang, the balance, for everything to work in life. And it is an incredibly challenging thing to forgive a pedophilic act. But I'm asking you to please, please find forgiveness in your heart. Because when you heal yourself and you forgive, you send that vibrational frequency into the universe. And it helps heal you, as well as it helps send a frequency of healing to other situations and in the collective pot. So you're actually you're actually sending healing to the actual situation globally just by healing yourself and just by forgiving. So with that being said, I'm sending you guys much love and light, and much unconditional love and forgiveness. And I ask you to please forgive today. So as it is above is below, as it is within is without. Namaste, guys. Until soon.